Seattle. It's pretty nice, but you may have heard that things are kind of expensive here. This neighborhood is 1.5 miles from downtown. Here's the median rent for a 1-bedroom apartment. 4.5 miles from downtown, and 7. Seattle is built like a lot of American cities. There's a downtown where lots of people work, and then there are the neighborhoods close to downtown where people live and are more likely to commute to work by walking, biking, or taking public transit. But living in those neighborhoods is expensive. In the neighborhoods a little farther away, the public transit is less convenient. Driving is more appealing. The housing is a little cheaper. In fact, the farther you go, the cheaper the housing gets, and the more likely you are to rely on a car. Those long commutes translate to a lot of transportation emissions. Urbanization is one of the best tools we have to deal with climate change, and people are going to continue to move to cities because, well, that's where the jobs are. We just need to build those cities to reduce the carbon footprints of our homes and transportation. But everyone has to be able to afford to actually live near those urban cores.
Folks who find themselves having to move are finding themselves maybe looking further and further out from the core of where they may go to school, or their family goes to school, or where they work, to afford actually living in some proximity to where they lived most of their life.
About 1/3 of households in US metro areas spend more than 30% of their income on rent. And the most expensive cities, New York, San Francisco, Seattle, have large homeless populations that are increasing. So how do we fix this? One solution bubbled up consistently among experts: smarter zoning. A recent analysis found that land use regulation, that zoning, was a primary factor in creating the unaffordable cities we have today. Theoretically, that's because there isn't enough housing. That doesn't just mean cities should just build big high-rises everywhere, although they could. It can also mean adding backyard cottages or extra apartments to in-town single-family homes. But it's important to keep transit in mind too. Affordable housing near transit centers means people can get where they need to go with fewer headaches and fewer emissions. That's currently a priority for the Seattle Area Transit Agency. In a state like Washington, there are still relatively low quotas on how much affordable housing developers are required to build in new construction projects. 90% of new Seattle developments are luxury units. And because they're so pricey, 1/4 of downtown apartments are currently vacant. The market doesn't necessarily meet people where they're at.
We're a bit of a canary in the coal mine, I think, for this country at large about not addressing that and making sure that zoning is actually matching what we need to build the kind of city that we're becoming.
We can reconnect neighborhoods that have been broken up by highways. We can prioritize people moving over parking. We can eliminate the idea that the American dream of homogeneous single-family neighborhoods is super holy. Like Monopoly, the way our cities are designed is stuck in the past. It's time to implement some new ideas.